I want attacking, purposeful football all the time. Now we're going to have backs against the wall and we're going to fight, and we're going to fight hard. You've got to show me all the guts and all the determination you've got in your body. You've got to inspire me.
A marvellous kick. That's as good as you'll ever see. And Footscray back in front.
I don't know about you guys, but if I see one bloke walk out of here, give the pat on the back from people out there for a good effort, I'll spew up.
From inside the centre square, Boydie kicked the goal. Boydie kicked the goal from inside the centre.
Hey Pack, welcome to Danny Boyd, a podcast about the Premiers elect, the team that is definitely 1000% going to win the AFL Grand Final this year. That is the Footscray Football Club, Proprietary Limited, trading as Western Bulldogs. I'm Danny McGinlay. Boydie is in Bali, but I have assembled the Avengers, the two greatest guests that you could possibly get. We are up in Rodney Eade's magnificent apartment. So I've given away one guest already. I mean, you've looked at the episode notes. Rodney Eade, Mark Stevens, welcome back, gents. I'll get you to switch your mic on there, Rocket. Probably, that'll work.
How's that?
That sounds brilliant.
That's better.
And you're on, Stevo.
Yeah, I'm on, and I'm not sure it's apartment. It's almost penthouse.
Oh, yes.
How do you
listen,
define
come on, boys. It's a bit like the Bulldogs going to win. You've got to keep a lid on it, Mark.
Yeah.
There's not nothing like a penthouse, but it's a good view, put it that way.
A good view. We're looking out over Port Oval. It's unbelievable. We see a little bit of water. But I've got to say, keep the lid on it, Danny.
Yeah,
As
nice.
a Bulldog person, whenever the lid comes off, things go wrong. Now, Johnny Ralph, I think he wrote 20 things that are great about the Bulldogs. I texted him and said, mate, Ralphie, pull your head in. We've just got to pull this back because, look, the Dogs are 6-4. There's a lot of work to go. And
that's right.
We've got to take it one week at a time. Right?
The old 1 week at a time. But he did the 20, I think he does the 20 things about each team that's going well. I think he did the Hawks 1 week, he's done Collingwood another week. So he must be struggling to write about things, Johnny. So he just
20 good things about Richmond. How are you going to fill that?
Oh, no,
You have to list some Vietnamese restaurants.
I hate the word bullish because of the Bulldogs, but I'm quite bullish about the Tigers. I reckon they're doing okay.
All right, well, we're not talking about them. This is a
you
Bulldogs
brought it up.
podcast. That's I was trying to bully them.
And Ralphie's a Richmond man, so he'd easily find those 20. But big game against the Cats, isn't it?
Yeah, so this will, it's tomorrow night when we're recording this. We might have some people listening after the result, but it's all anyone's talking about with the Bailey game. Rocket, if you were coaching the Dogs and you'd had did we even have this in your tenure, a big player leaving? I don't think that happened, but it might have happened in one of your
No one
other...
wanted to leave when Rocket was there.
Damn straight, yes.
The only one we lost, which I was really disappointed with, was Cal Ward, which was a real stuff up.
Oh, that hurt. He would have been captain, Rocket.
Yeah, a real stuff up from the administration above. So it was really badly handled. So
That was a bit of a low ball offer at the time, I remember.
Well, they offered him it was $1 million for 3 years, and then they reneged on that, as in the Bulldogs, and said, no, we'll give you 300, trying to save 30 grand a year. And in the meantime,
Giants are offering him
800 a year. So it's a no-brainer.
And he grew up. We can just about see where he grew up, Rocket, in Spotswood there.
I reckon he would have signed for $1 million for 3 years, and then they lose it on the back of trying to save 30K. Yeah. So it was a really bad decision. Anyway.
But when we played the Giants in the first game, it wasn't like, get Callum, I can't believe you did that.
No, you're right on the Smith one. So it'll be interesting to see how it is handled. Obviously, the Bulldogs have been worded up because Libba is a bit of a no-filter man, even though he's very intelligent. You can tell his response last week, just played it cool, just played it down. Beveridge is playing it down as if no talk. There's always the trap of going after him that you lose your own focus.
Yep.
I would think at the appropriate times he'll be reminded. He'll be reminded, like if he mucks up, kicks out in the full, gets tackled holding the ball.
Yes.
And I think there's a chance that he could lose it. So if the Bulldogs handle it smartly, he could really be put off his game.
Yeah, I think Libba will be leading the charge, no doubt, probably at the first bounce. And just trying to get into Bailey Smith's mind. I don't know him that well. I don't think anybody knows Bailey Smith that well.
I'd say the closest would be Laith Vandermeer. They went to school together. Yeah. And I think Laith is actually, that's who I'd put on him first. Because I reckon no one can annoy you more than a brother. And they've pretty much grown up as brothers.
But Vandermeer is quite an antagonistic person as well on the field. I didn't realise he sort of had that... Obviously, the blonde hair, the white hair. You've got a few down the board. You've got a few layers, haven't you?
We do. We're looking like children of the corn.
Yes.
Yeah, so just trying to get into Bailey Smith's mind, though, I'm thinking with his personality mindset, I'm not sure he's going to enjoy this, Rocket. And I think this will be playing on his mind. I'm just trying to predict things happening here. I can't see Bailey Smith coming out and dominating this game of footy. I think there'll be a few demons in his mind, and I think that could be a good thing for the Dogs.
Yeah, because he's in great form. He's in All-Australian form at the moment. He is killing it, and a whole range of different reasons I never saw at the Dogs. Maybe, but in his mind too, though, Stevo, he might say, "I want something to prove," because they wouldn't play him in the midfield, and that's and I'm proving that I can play in the midfield. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, it's a real mind game, as you're right, Stevo. But
so to go back to the question, what would you do if you were coaching, Rocket? What would you?
I'd be really mindful that we keep our focus and hardness and way we're going. But if you get an opportunity at times without losing, without giving free kicks, you can remind at the certain just play your normal way. So as Stevo said, Liver, Vandermeer, even Young West, he's got a bit of bit of cheekiness in him as well. So I think he might be reminded at times.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yesterday, Bailey Smith didn't talk to the media.
That's right. Didn't even train.
Didn't train, which I don't think's that unusual, but just he had the hoodie on, didn't really look that happy to be there. I think from a media management perspective, I'm now a bit of spin in politics, Rocket, so thinking about these things, I think Bailey Smith should have just fronted up with a smile and had a quick chat yesterday, 2 or 3 questions, and then moved on. Wasn't a great look, and Geelong should be milking this a bit too, Rocket. Get a few more people through the game.
Well, it'll be packed anyway, so I don't know if you can fit any more in, can you? So it's a
real shame.
Why do they give 200 tickets for the opposition, and every other game you get 2,000 and 3,000?
And the Dogs always end up down there, Rodney, as you'd know. They always make the trip to Geelong. I mean, how many times has Scotty Pendlebury played at the Cattery?
I think the Big Donut comes to mind, doesn't it?
I think so. So another inequity in footy would have been... Look, I don't think there'll be too many boos because there won't be too many Bulldog people there. But if Bailey Smith had played at Docklands...
It should be at Marvel.
It really should.
I mean, if the AFL were really big on maximising crowds and that, it should be at Marvel.
Yeah, we should, to really annoy Bailey, we should play him at Ballarat.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was crazy too, I've got to say, the Ballarat thing. I mean, a fair call for 4,900 and something people.
Did you see Bevo's response of Bailey said, 80,000 people don't get that at Ballarat. Bevo pointed out quite fairly, because you're playing Collingwood. They're not there to see Geelong. We got 80,000 when we played Collingwood there.
But I think the AFL missed a trick there. There should have been a double-up game at least, Bulldogs versus Geelong. They always like to do these matchups, rivalry sort of things, but they've missed a trick there.
They've actually done it with a lot of the people who have left clubs this year, and all playing at their new club's home ground. It's been with a few of the...
Is that the sort of soft, kind and caring AFL?
Is that the wokeness of not booing people and that sort of thing?
I guess so. I mean, Dan Houston played Port Adelaide in Melbourne. That's the only one I can think of. But
and there was another one as well.
Yeah, there was a fair few. Do you I mean... I actually, interestingly, Harry Mackay came to my son's footy club last night, and so I ran a Q&A with the kids, and I asked Harry, who's the most feral fans, expecting Collingwood, because half the team are Collingwood fans, and that would have outraged. And he said quite simply, he goes, Port Adelaide.
Oh, right.
Or maybe it was just for Houston's safety.
Well, that's a given, really, isn't it, when you think about it? But no... Bailey Smith would have been very loudly booed.
Oh, yes. And we need to, even, if we win tomorrow night, we thump Bailey and it goes really well, still, the first time he plays against us at Doglands, we got it. I reckon I'm glad Tom Boyd's not here. He would be telling us not to. But, hey, Feral Nuffy's in charge.
I reckon there'll be a 5-year moratorium. The AFL, the way they think, won't.
That's right, which I think is great. But the thing with Horn Francis, I mean, he was booed rarely, and even by other supporters, not only North Melbourne, by other Collingwood supporters, fans. But they never said anything about that. But they weren't booing him for any other reason but the way he left North Melbourne. Yeah. I mean, that's part of footy. So
but poor old Caleb Daniel copped it.
Did he?
No booing.
Oh, yeah,
he copped week 1, North versus Dogs.
That's right.
And there's so much love for Caleb Daniel. I mean, I was still cheering him. I didn't mind it when he turned over a couple, of course, but... We love Caleb Daniels, so that's a different kettle of fish.
Well, when the club delists you and you're still a beloved person, it is like that. I've always maintained that they need, I think they do it more at the MCG than Doglands, but when there's a free kick, it'll show on the big screen why there's a free kick. It'll be like high contact, holding the ball. We need a boo splainer to explain. There's people booing a player around you. Like, hang on, why is that? Yeah. And it's like punched a player early in the game, used to play against them.
And even the Buku thing, it sounds like a boo.
I love teasing teasing opposition fans because he gets the ball. I was with a Essendon supporting mate on Saturday. Buka got the ball, boo, and I just turned to him and I go, "Oh, is that your players booing our black player?
Yeah.
Shame on you, Essendon."
So your mate left early.
Play the racist card again.
Yeah, playing the racist card.
Your mate obviously left early then Saturday night. There wasn't
Halfway
many
through the
left.
third quarter, Charlie Pickering.
I saw Danny there doing his best work. He moves through the rooms. I hate
does
to
he?
think how many envelopes. I think there's a different
a bit of
envelope
cash,
in
bit
each
of
room.
Arthur Ashe,
There
is
must
he?
be cash going. He and Eade have got some deal going. Where I'll do the presidents, then I'll move to the.
I wish
players.
I could get into the presidents. No, I'm just past players, top dogs, and social club right now. I got my eyes on the president. You've got to be a lot more formal there, and I don't think they trust me to maintain the corporate speak. I'd need media training from you, Stevo.
Yeah, it's a corporate MC job. I think Laura Spurway, the former Channel 9 reporters, doing that one.
I'm sure she does a good job. I'm never even allowed in there.
Yeah. But no, it was a great game Saturday night, obviously, wasn't it?
Can we talk about who you were there with? I was there with Charlie Pickering. Stevo was there. I had a beer with him after the game.
Yeah, I went with a few mates. Mark Hunter, his mate Spud, my wife Jane, a few other mates of mine.
And the greatest bulldog of all time. The one I had the number on my back on when I was 10 years old.
The great number 26. Can you have a guess who it is? Full forward?
Simon Cox.
Yeah,
No,
I think
not Simon Cox. Similar, but better player, I think, in the end. Danny Delray.
Oh, Danny Del Rey.
Yeah, so Danny Delray, who I think kicked, was it 8 in a final against Geelong in 92?
Yes, and we still got
Still
thumped.
got rolled by about 12 goals. But he, not a tall man, Danny Delray, but
No, he's a lovely kid.
he's about 188 centimetres, but good
So
forward.
you sat where, near the past players? Is that where...
I'm in the top dogs coterie now, Rodney.
Oh,
so
are you? Geez, you're flying.
not really. It's a midstream sort of coterie group.
Midstream is a very nice way of putting
And that
it.
room is where?
It's
forward
the wing?
pocket.
Danvers' room. It used to
Is
be
that the forward pocket?
Probably
The
should be on the
Bulldog?
wing.
Is that the Bulldog change rooms in?
Yeah, cheer squad and
Yeah, right, okay.
Bulldogs.
It's where Buku got his first goal. Like that
Yeah.
pocket.
So when they kicked that ball that night, Bailey Williams and
Yeah.
came into your box,
Yeah.
was that up that end, was it?
I
No, I
can't
thought it was the
remember
other
which
end.
But that was in the corporate box, right?
Yeah, that in the corporate box.
Yeah.
I thought you were front and centre there and you're waving to the crowd like
Yeah,
the Pope.
I could see the ball
I
coming.
thought it was Pope Leo coming out, so waving.
So I was hovering out, and then Bailey Williams ran in. I thought he might kick it to me, and geez, it came in hard.
You weren't worried about people in the back getting hurt. You just wanted to wave to the throng.
Yeah,
you're
I know.
out
It
there
seems my
up and
mind.
about.
So I had a Prosecco in one hand and tried to take it one-handed, but the ball did come in quick. It hit the back of the box.
Oh,
It was
right.
coming in that fast.
Lucky
So,
didn't hit the window.
yeah, you forget when you get a bit older and soft how hard those footies are.
Yeah. Did you? I'm embarrassed to say I wasn't across how many stats Bailey Dale had. Like admittedly, I was there with a mate.
Right.
We were
No, you were too
gas
busy
bagging.
emceeing,
I was
right?
emceeing everywhere. It was only at the very end when the great Jeff Morgan, who runs the Coterie Group, said, "Hey, Bailey's on 49." I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah.
You're gonna
we
raise
knew
the
sort of-
bat.
Yeah.
Word got around. That's the good thing with the AFL app now. You can work out what's going on. You know how long's left.
But it was
and-
Bailey Williams. Did you see his face after
Yeah.
he didn't pass him the ball?
Yeah.
When he had that last one, he went, oh, because he looked at him and thought that would have been 50 if he'd kicked it to
Yeah.
him.
It's
So
the
50
biggest story involving a Bailey all week.
Yes, there's a lot of Baileys.
And what do you do, Rocket, this week? See, me keeping a lid on it as a Dogs fan, a lot of hype about Bailey. You know what's going to happen now, don't you? They obviously sit on him this week. Well, you think so?
They tag him.
Yeah.
Bevo doesn't tag though, does he?
Well, someone's going to... Geelong will tag.
No, it's in Geelong. Will tag
Yeah.
Bailey Dale.
Oh, Bailey Dale. Sorry, yeah. Sorry, I'm
There's
getting
too many
I'm
Baileys.
getting too many
Yeah.
Baileys.
Bailey Hunt from the AFLW side. She's
That's
gonna
where
come in.
teams are going, though. They're getting a minimum of two. That's why Joe Hennison is great to be back because it gives you another running defender. If it was just Bailey Dale, you'd sit on. So you have a look at teams have got two. And good teams got two, sometimes three who can
Even
rebound.
Bramble does a bit of that running.
Bramble turns it over. I know he started as a sub last week. He does butcher it a bit, but having Johannison back. But yes, I think that Mullen may be one that will go to him. So it'll be interesting. Or does he go to one of the mids who are like a Richards or something like that? So because Bowes is out, Dangerfield's out, so their midfield's weakened a fair bit. So there'll be some tricks that Chris Scott will come up with.
Oh, it's so exciting.
Yeah. And when you coach down there, Rocket, just as you go and see how narrow the ground is, it changes everything, doesn't it? I mean, you can tend to go too wide and the ball ends up out on the full all the time.
Yes, there's more out of the Fulls there and of the Giants ground because the Giants ground is not narrow, but they bring the boundary line in further than any other
really?
team. So you do fall for that a bit, but it's a bit the way Geelong play it is they kick mark till about halfway, then they go quick. So teams who go quick too early can actually run into trouble. There's a bit of so, but they do defend it well. But it's not the fortress it used to be. The Giants beat them down there 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
They've lost some games, so it's not the fortress it used to
I think
be.
the Dogs and 2 and zip their last 2 down.
We are, yeah. We played them last year in floodwaters, and then we did beat them in the final game of 2023. It was, and that was a brilliant.
I think
match.
the good thing. I don't class myself as an outsider, but saying as an unemotional that it's fantastic that they don't rely on Bont. He's still playing very well, but it's not he's got to turn the game or keep them in the game. No, Libba's having a great season. Richards has a great year as well, but others are standing up. Everyone's playing there. There's not really an area of the ground or one person you say like Vandermeer and McNeil are always under pressure from supporters, but they've stood up to be really. West I think is quite a good player. That's forward, but the back half O'Donnell's a really good player, so they have to give credit to the coach there. Karmas is playing really well both ends, so there's not one hole in the actual side. I think it's a very even contribution.
And Kennedy's been a great pickup, obviously.
Oh, yes, recruit of the year.
Yeah, I think what the Dogs lack though, which like West is great. Vandermeer does his role. McNeil. So I reckon still at times, but a little zippy Indigenous forward would just cap them off. I reckon.
Well, he did the hamstring last week, unfortunately early, Artie Jones. So, but they're.
But if you threw in a Brad Hill or someone like that, that's the missing link.
Or Cody Waitman.
Well,
even Waitman's
Pickett.
not really a crummer. Pickett, but they're hard to find. But most teams have got one.
Bobby Hill, that sort of thing. So, but
Is he up for trade? Can we get Bobby Hill, you reckon?
The other thing that I think has changed and has to give credit to Beveridge as well, that he was heavily criticised and probably justifiably so in the past. I think we bombed the ball a lot. We just got inside 50, just kept on bombing it.
Yeah.
Now we're hitting targets, and it's really noticeable when we played St Kilda, I think, we had a different game plan, and now we're hitting targets, so we're keeping teams honest. They've got to man us up rather than knowing that it's just going to go long all the time.
That's right. We always used to have Norton and Jamara and Darcy sort of just banging into each other. Whereas,
and even before that, even before Darcy come on, it was always bombing the ball. But you have a look at the team, they win by 90 points, but Norton didn't really contribute at all. He's been up and down, so if he can hit some sort of form like English has turned it around, I think the Dogs can improve.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at on the shows like AFL 360 and On the Couch, they've got those stats. We're apparently number one for contested possessions and getting goals from defensive 50 and all the stuff that I always have to like remind myself that I should understand them. But look, this is why, Stevo, my lid is off, and I'm enjoying us being the Premiers elect, because if it doesn't come true, I'm not going to feel any worse than if I didn't enjoy it. So I figure you got to enjoy it as it is now. Do you not want to, like, the best example, when I did ABC Grandstand, I did it 2018 with a woman called Tess Armstrong, who's a Richmond fan. Now, they were reigning premiers, and Tigers were up and about all year, and she was always like, no, we're going to stuff it up, we're going to stuff it up. And then in the prelim, they did stuff it up, and she just missed a whole many months where she could have enjoyed the potential.
I think that's Stevo. I think he's superstitious.
I am. I've been through a lot of pain. I mean, look, that's why it was so emotional in that GWS win, obviously in the prelim final, Rocket. I was up there and it was just huge.
Yeah.
Like I tripped over a speaker box in the Channel 7 commentary box. It got a bit emotional. Just sort of looked up to the sky on the roof. I missed that last kick.
Oh, so did I.
By Tory Dixon. I knew it was all over. But before that, I'd been to 7 losing prelims. So when you've been through that as a supporter of the Bulldogs, you're wary. The scars are there. The Dogs are always good in the stats. Like last year, Rocket going to, when they look at the premiership window, the teams that are in the right little quadrant, the Dogs seem to always be in that. But it doesn't always translate, Danny. Sorry, that's a bit of work to do still.
Look, it's an even season. I think it's separating a little bit, but I think any team can win it. So I think smell the roses, but I think that they still lost 4 games. Most of them very competitive losses, but they're still losses. So we need to keep getting the wins when we can.
All right. I know this is a Bulldog podcast, but I just want to, if you could answer this quickly. Like, Collingwood aren't that good, right? Like, we shouldn't. Their fans are up and about, and they're smelling the roses, but they're pretenders, right? Surely, reassure me. Come on.
No, I don't think they're pretenders.
Damn it.
I think their biggest problem's going to be with their age. They seem to be resting players at the right time, but they could be injuries. If they get injuries, struggle. Brisbane are going through a rough patch, but you're not going to count off Brisbane. Hawks, I think they'll be thereabouts, but I don't think they can win it.
Excellent.
So I think Dogs, Collingwood, Brisbane. The other ones, I'm not convinced on anyone else yet. And there's still a long way to go. The main thing is, you have a look at Hawthorn last year was 0-5 and probably should have finished top 4. So Brisbane were 2-5 and win a flag.
Right, yeah.
So there's a long way to go for teams to improve and also teams to fall on a hole.
Collingwood look the most organised and sort of structural. They get they're an amazing team to follow, Rocket, because if you sort of get a goal or two up, you're confident that they're going to do the right things and not stuff things up. So the issue for me is with them is memory and Myercheck. Can they keep doing it? They haven't really got much class. McStay, they're okay, but they haven't got that real silky tall forward.
I think they rely on their ball movement, but I think Membry's been a reason. He's not going to be a great player, but it gives you a contest. They're not going to be outmarked, and I think obviously they thought McStay would get injured again, which he has done. He does every year. So they needed another one for backup. Myercheck's been injured again. He didn't play well last week, but kicks a vital goal at the end. So Elliott's a good player. They've got enough. But if they get injuries to a couple, they can be exposed.
I've got a bit of asterisk and red flag on Melbourne. I've just got a hunch.
Oh, no.
4 out of 5. And
they've won 4 out of 5. They've just knocked over Brisbane.
No.
They were unlucky round 1 against GWS.
Not unlucky against the Hawks. Hawks win by 6 goals, but they're in front of court 3/4 time.
So I think Melbourne are coming. Just quietly, there are a couple of good young kids.
That's what I like, is that people saying, they're gone and they'll drop down the bottom. I said, no, they're not going to drop down the bottom because they've already introduced kids. Langford, Lindsay, Bowie's had a really good year. So the younger players are really playing well and they've got a good future, just relying still on Max.
There's some good opposition analysis, but I'm going to bring it back to the Dogs. So what's going to happen? We're going to chat to these two guys for another few minutes, and then we're going to duck behind the paywall for the Patreons. We've got some special
paywall. Growing up with the Murdochs and that at News Limit, that paywall's something we used to.
That's
for big corporations.
That's Danny Boyd's growing, mate. Yep.
Well, he's got those envelopes. He's got a whole box of envelopes there.
If you want to join the Patreon, it's only $5 a month, and me and Boydie get you some exclusive info. And the Patreons have got some great questions for Rocket and Stevo, which is coming up. But look, we're coming up to halfway through the year. We get the bye after this round. What would you give the Dogs as a mark? A plus, B, everything. And who's been your favourite? Who would be your best and fairest for the first half of the year for the Dogs?
I'll kick it off. I suppose I'll give a B plus.
Great.
Almost an A at this stage, considering who was out.
Yeah.
When you consider that Bont missed.
I'm surprised it's not A. For me, it's A. But
it's a tough fixture, but still only 6 and 4. So probably should have beaten Freo over in Freo. That was pretty average. And when you're 38 points up or whatever against Brisbane, a couple of missed opportunities. So B plus. My best and fairest at the moment might be a bit of a surprise. I'm going with Matt Kennedy.
Oh, no.
I think he's been so consistent. He's done his job every week. So I think he'd be polling in every game.
Yeah. No, I don't think everyone's played so well. There is not a definite best and fairest yet. I don't think there's any wrong answer to that. Rocket, what are your thoughts on that?
Mine's an A minus with just about an A. But as Stevo said, with 4 losses, but probably 3 of those could have won. I think they've done extremely well with injuries and et cetera, et cetera. We know all that. Me at the moment is Libba is in front.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Best and fairest. He carried the load when Bont was out, and some of his work on the Gold Coast was enormous for the whole game, and he's been exceptional.
I just hope he gets all Australian, Rocket, because I normally don't worry about that too much, but I was really flat last year when he missed out. I thought surely he gets in this time. That'd be the most popular All Australian in history almost.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Me, best and fairest would be Joel Fraser. Just thinking.
Yeah, I must admit, he's one of my favourites. I reckon he's a gun.
Yeah, Dr. Crane.
The only thing I pumped him up at that Bulldog function.
Yeah, so Rocket and I hosted at the Whitten Oval. There was a watch-along party.
Big donut. Oh, I don't know if he got paid. I got nothing.
Right.
I got nothing.
I did as a favour.
I got a cream cake
because I love the club.
I got a scone.
They bought me a Carlton Zero because I had to drive home. But it was a watch along party. They were sort of testing that new function centre at the Dogs. So it was the first time I'd seen it. It's a great venue, and they only opened up to a few hundred people, so there was no real advertising. But it was a brilliant vibe in there, and
select few. No dickhead policy.
No DH.
No, I got in. It's okay.
But I pumped up Fraser before the game because he's not quick, but he's clean hands, smart footy. And then I saw the game. He handballed 3 times straight to the Suns players. And I went, "Oh God, what are you doing, son?" And there was one on the weekend against Essendon as well. He handballed one to the Essendon player. I thought, "Oh, he might be colourblind. I don't know. There might be something going on there."
No, he's been a great pickup, and he's quicker than he looks. A bit like a Bont, isn't he?
He's quick in the mind.
Yeah.
He's quick in the mind, which is fantastic.
Have either of you been out to Bont's Cafe yet?
No, I've heard a lot about it. A lot
That
of
in
people
Kew?
have been-
Out in Kew, yeah. I know
a bit
it's
far for me.
Not Bulldogs territory.
That's the far queue. It's really, it is
not,
a long way
not
away.
too far from where I am, but I think from what I can see, there's a few Bulldog nuffies hanging around there, which
Oh, mate, I'm
trying
heading
to
down.
get sightings of Bont, going in for a milkshake and sort of paparazzi
I
sort
think
of
he'd
stuff.
want the queue type people to spend their money there, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So he was
Yeah.
there. Apparently, he was there Sunday morning. But my daughter actually applied for a job there part time.
Oh, really?
Missed out. So
Oh,
I'll have to
no.
get onto the Bont.
You should have pulled the
shit.
strings, mate.
I know. So I'm going to have to get in touch with the Bont. I hope he listens. But young Josie, she would love to work at Arthur's Milk Bar.
Yeah, Arthur's, and I've not been there yet. It was reviewed by Emma in the Good Foods Guide, and great article, and it made it sound good. My daughter had a suggestion for Bont. I know, Bont, you definitely listen. She thinks you should only have 3 flavours of milkshake in strawberry, vanilla, and Blue Heaven. And you have to get the Bulldogs
That makes
colours.
sense. But
There we go.
my son was wandering past there the other day and saw Bont sweeping up. So he's hands on. He's cleaning up, and what a man. He's
so
down there
good.
cleaning.
Or is
the
that
dishes.
he's just really tight with his money and
Well,
he can't,
yeah.
not going to pay staff?
But he's hands on.
Yeah. All right, we are going to disappear behind the paywall very soon, but I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you the free-to-air listeners a bonus question. This is asked by Rob Maher, who's one of our active listeners and a Patreon and a champion. Rocket, he wants to know, who in the teams you coached at the Dogs, and I guess we can open this up to, actually, I'll get you to answer twice. Once for the players you coached for the Dogs and once for the players you coached at other teams. Who would slot straight into the current Dogs team and improve us? Because I guess Tony Lockett is the answer to everything, or Derek Kickett.
No, it's not Terry. I think Paul Kelly, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And improve every side. But
I've got a Bulldog. Can I say a Bulldog?
Yeah, absolutely, you can answer.
you can jump in.
Yeah, but one of Rocket's favourites. I reckon Dale Morris. Boy, I'd
Oh,
love
yes.
to have him in there every week.
Yeah, he's one of the. I think Morris, and I think the obvious one is Brad Johnson as a forward.
Oh, good answer.
Brad Johnson, because he can mark above his head. Especially if Sam Darcy come back. Imagine having Brad around that. He gets a player on him that's not as good in the air. He can run. Yeah, I think he'd be great for the modern game.
But Morris too. He could. Rocket used to play him on smalls and talls, and he'd beat everyone.
He used to smash Milne and Betts. Betts couldn't touch the ball on him. And then he would play him on Pavlich and play him on Rewalt. The only player I've ever seen him, like he's lost a couple of times, Dale, the only one I saw him beaten more than once was Stevie J.
Oh, really?
Stevie J beat him probably 3 times.
So we were very lucky that Stevie J didn't play that 2016 prelim.
That was a lot went right. That including the fact that, as we mentioned, Cal Ward got knocked out. So
Yes.
that was one that that
And
was
just
big.
after Jordan Roughhead did. So, like, we went down one and we were in trouble here. Oh, good, they've gone down one as well. Who's the player who need him? It was it was Friendly Fire.
I think it was Cordy.
Who?
Oh, that's right, it was one of us.
It was Cordy.
Cordy's knee
Cordy's
needs to
knee.
be...
Raspberry Cordy.
Yeah. Who premiership centre half forward.
Yeah.
Cordy and kicked the first goal of the grand final.
Kicked it off the ladies' tee. Kicked it 25 metres or something.
It was perfect. It was right in front of me, that game. Look at that. It didn't take long for us to just be reminiscent about that. Where did you sit in the 2016 grand final?
I went to the Auburn Hotel, which was the G-Bung then. And it was
you didn't get a
family
ticket to the game?
in Sydney.
No, sorry, I was talking about the granny.
Oh, the grand
no,
final.
Tell me about the prelim as well.
The prelim was at the Auburn Hotel with the G-Bung.
Yep.
So that was jam-packed. It was rocking and rolling. So I went with family and my wife's son and her ex-husband and all that are all Bulldog supporters. So,
legend.
So we're up and about.
Are they Bulldogs fans because of you?
No, before.
Oh, imagine that. Mum's new boyfriend's Rocket Eade. Oh, this is the best.
And the grand final. Normally I would just watch it here, so I would have just been at home.
Oh,
just
okay. You don't go to the grand finals?
I haven't been to many. No, I can, but I decided not to.
He's won enough.
I'm trying to keep my run going. I've been to every one since '98.
Oh, well done. Oh, and that's a painful one for
but
us.
I'm not getting free tickets anymore, so that's an issue.
Yeah.
So last year I had to. Yeah, last couple of years
and
I've
to
had
delve
to
into
pay.
those big long pockets of yours.
Yeah, that's right.
And the moths
Rocket,
come out of the
so-
I got
pockets.
some envelopes I can lend you.
Yeah.
Actually, just on the... I know I've told this story on the pod many times, but I went to the gasometer in Collingwood to watch the 2016 prelim because my wife was pregnant. I couldn't go up. She was ready to pop any day. And me and my mate Shane had saved the gasometer. We were at the Rose. Do you remember halfway through that year we were playing the Swans and they were thumping us and then we came back and won? We were at the Rose and we left the game at halftime during the Swans match going, this pub's jinxed. Let's go to the gasometer. We came back and won and we went, let's never go to the gasometer
Oh,
again
you're
until we need
superstitious
it.
as well as Stevo.
yes.
So you're telling Stevo not to keep a lid on it, and that's through his
I'm
superstition.
superstitious.
You're superstitious
I'm a
too.
complicated human, Rocket.
Well, I've got a similar pub situation now at the Orong Hotel, which is not far from where you used to be, Rocket, in Paran, sort of Armidale.
Yeah.
There. So we went there for the GWS game, bang, with some friends, won that this year.
Oh, right, for this,
Then
so
the
this
following
current
week, booked
game?
a table at Port, bang,
Yes.
won by 90 points. So that's
You can't
now
go
our
back.
go-to.
So
the
that's
Orong.
so that's the black shorts now. That's the home
Orong
pub.
is the place to be.
Well, let me tell you this, Steve. I need you to not go there until it's a game that we absolutely have to win. And I'm going to come because, devastatingly, Gasometer has just been closed down. So my good luck pub that I haven't gone to since 2016 to say because I'm saving it in case of emergency break glass. I'm coming to the Orange.
Okay, but but I won't be that sociable. Unfortunately, I'm not a really sociable football watcher. I get a bit on edge. Not a bit like you in the box.
I'm going to say you get nervous.
I
you get
toey.
tense.
Yeah.
You get
Tense.
tense. Toey is a Roman sandal.
I get pessimistic.
Toey means something else in my head, just so you know.
But if you get, and say when you get 5-6 goals up, I get even more nervous.
Oh,
Rocket,
yeah, you
because
can't
you think,
watch.
what could
Can't
go
watch.
wrong?
Yeah, because you're a glass half empty man, aren't you?
I often have to go for a walk. I can't stand watching footy on the TV. I'll turn my phone off and walk around the block.
Yep, fair enough.
What will be.
Hey, we don't need to chat. We just need to go get the good luck pub
But
vibes.
after a win, I'm the best bloke around.
Oh, yeah. Actually, listeners, if you have any good luck pubs that you've gone to only see dogs wins, we need to create a list of these because we need the good juju
My other
this year.
mates go to the Mona Castle. I haven't been
Libba's
there
pub.
yet. Libba's pub. They reckon sensational pub to watch Bulldog games at. Yeah.
I went in there once, and I probably shouldn't tell this story it's bad for Libba. This was over 10 years ago. This is like 2012. But me and my mate walked in, and we saw someone get glassed, and the glasser walked out, and the person who was glassed just went, "Can I get another beer?" And the bartender went, "No, you got to wait 10 minutes."
That makes sense.
Anyway, we're going to dip behind the paywall. Thanks, Rocket. Thanks, Stevo. If you want to join the Patreon, it's only $5 a month, and you'll get to hear questions like this.
I gave my childhood to that roar of the red, white, and blue sea, and the knowledge that you had two loves, the Bulldog boys and me. 20 years on, I feel that longing hanging in September air. But the reason I go every week is to pretend you're still there. And they will find the glory one day, and I will throw it at your feet. It's a long, long road they're running for you, the dogs of Footscray streets. It's a long, long road they're running for you, the dogs of Footscray streets.